G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. It's time for the long-awaited skeleton crew for maybe like the few Disney Star Wars fans that are still out there. But anyway, look, it's time for the skeleton crew. We've got a 2-episode premiere to get through. So we're going to get straight into this. If you are new here, you get to see my reactions as I go through the episode, and then you get to hear my thoughts and my review at the very end. Let's get straight into this. Honestly, I don't know what to expect. I really don't. Anyway, let's go. You know, it's kind of sad what's happened to Lucasfilm. It's kind of sad what's happened to Star Wars. Okay, so this apparently takes place after Mando Season 3, is what I'm hearing. Now, there's an opening we haven't seen for a while. It's kind of like the beginning of A New Hope. Pretty much a recreation of that.
You're a good old captain. It's all forgotten now. Because at long last, I don't
know if this has already been revealed, but that's Idris Elba, or Idris Elba, however you say his name.
You to the only thing that matters.
But I do find it funny that they put a mask on him. They put a mask on him, like, to try and play on the mystery box, unless they reveal it very, like, soon or really quickly. Like, this is basically what Star Wars is now becoming. It's like the theories and obviously there is also those moments where like it's self-identifying, like it just keeps playing on the same tropes. But this is another one of the more recent tropes. This is one of the Disney tropes. Put a mask on them, make it a mystery box, and then, like, maybe reveal it at the end of the season, or maybe just reveal it straight away to try and keep the audience. Oh, here we go. The final installment for Disney Star Wars in 2024.
Unhand me, you villain! Never!
Please not leave.
Oh, look, it's the...
all over the house.
I don't know, is that bluey green milk? It's...
I'm going to be late.
Every time we see milk in Star Wars, there's always a new, different color.
Gotta go. Don't be late for school.
I won't.
Car keys. So you see, these things don't even have repulsor lifts. They are literally on like a rail. You see it in the road.
No, I'm not gonna fail. I don't want to get held back, Lim. I wouldn't be in the same class with Runa anymore. As Runa?
Oh man, this is hard to get through. We're only like 10 minutes in or something like that, and we go through like just a day in the classroom, and then they've got career day tomorrow, and now they're all worried about it. So it's just.
I like her.
There were Easter eggs in all those pages, I bet. Honestly, I didn't care enough to pay enough attention. Okay, I gotta pause there for a second. Like, to me, it doesn't really make sense. Like, this is just one of those moments where time is like, I don't know, a bit jumbled, I guess. He misses his tram. And he goes to take a shortcut. He goes back to get his bike. And the next time we see his friend, he's in the class. He's ready to, like, pretty much take this test. And then it basically cuts back to him, and he's still, like, in the forest or taking the shortcut, quote unquote. I don't know. Just a little bit of a time issue there, I think.
I gotta get back to work.
He's not going to make it to tomorrow. He's going to be off on this adventure getting lost.
Did I temple out in the woods?
Cyclops engaged.
Web!
It's funny that he finds that now, and that was from earlier in the day.
You're gonna be...
End of the episode. I thought so. Well, okay. It wasn't offensive in any way. Obviously, it doesn't do anything. It's so is like a Goonies in space. It really is, and it really is like that kids show. It's almost like that droid stories or whatever it was, that animated show that they did. It's kind of like that, but live action, you could say. So that's the demographic that I see that this is going to be directed towards. I actually think, and this is so crazy to think this, but it is probably one of the best shot episodes, like in regards to editing and stuff like that. Obviously, there was a couple of still issues with the time that I was actually mentioning. And there was actually something near the beginning as well that I just want to mention when like this battle takes place at the beginning. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. So they run in to get ready, and he cocks the gun, right? And it just made me think, you know, in Andor, when you saw the AK, and it just sort of takes you out of it a little bit. I know that that's a nitpick. I get that, but it's like real world stuff. And then also too, like everything that happens in this scene, this opening scene, like him sitting at the table, spinning on the stool, the car keys, all of that. It's too close. It's still too close to reality. And I know that you don't want to put too many Star Wars tropes necessarily in there, but keys and stuff like that, I don't think it's necessary. This entire like planet, I'm guessing, is run basically by droids. So that's why the cars, you could say, or the buses or the transport is all, oh no, because he drives home and he parks his car in there, but it's all on a rail. Like that would be a nightmare for dealerships. But yeah, like there were issues with it in regards to it actually being in the Star Wars galaxy. I'm not going to deny that. But when you look at this as an isolated episode, it is boring. It is a boring episode, but it does set up the characters, I think, pretty well. And it's actually another funny thing is that these kid actors actually acted better in this episode than any episode of The Acolyte. And a couple of other like performances in some of the other shows as well. But particularly The Acolyte. Like that's what we've got to go off from this year, right? We've had The Acolyte and we've had this. And the performances so far just from that first episode, I think is really good. I just realized that I wasn't sharing my my screen there. So let me go back and just quickly show you what I was talking about here. Right, so they run in there. And just here, he cocks the gun. Sorry about that. I'm a bit out of practice when it comes to making videos. So there, like I said, there was that, which immediately just drew my attention to it. And I guess there is an element of the fact that I hate Disney Star Wars, so I am hyper concentrated on seeing some of the things that are wrong with it. So I do understand that. But I've got to say, like, I don't think not much of this actually felt like Star Wars, to be honest. It has its Star Wars references and everything, and his obsession, you could say, with the Jedi and wanting to go on an adventure and a Jedi adventure and all of these things and how they come together. It's not like they were just all friends, but it was pretty much the entire episode is just the world building of creating these characters, I guess. And it's so funny that out of everything that we've had in Disney Star Wars, this is one thing that, again, it's still so removed from Star Wars because there's nothing really been in it other than those references and people talking about Jedi that really references Star Wars. So if this didn't have the label of Star Wars on it, it'd actually be fine so far. Yeah. And there's not really too much I have to say. It's like we get to see him go through a day of school. He's got a test the next day. He misses the test. That's how he finds what he thinks is the temple, which ends up being the ship. She overhears him saying that to his dad when his dad gets called into the school. And she like claims it. And there's a bit of a back and forward. There are some minor funny moments in it that they actually did pretty well as well. But it's going to be interesting how they now try and tie this in to maybe the wider Star Wars galaxy, because it certainly does feel like these kids or these people on this planet may have actually have never left the planet. Maybe they've never invented the ships able to be able to do that. Nobody's ever visited them, but that's certainly what it seems like when they're exiting their atmosphere and see stars for the first time. But yeah, that's really all we've got. The ship that, like, you know, what happens through this, it's done pretty well. Like, this kid, he just wants to go on an adventure. He finds a really cool like bridge. He puts the headphones on and then he sees the blinking light, you know, and that blinking light just gets to him and he like has to hit it because he wants just to know what it does, the adventure of it. And then there's a pause and then the ship takes off and his dad's out there. So his dad obviously gets to see him leave. And I think it was actually done for a first episode. It was fine, but it is more so for kids. It's not really Star Wars like in the sense of what you would think of when you think of Star Wars, like the lightsabers and the Force and that. And that may come later. Of course it does with the Jude Law character from what we've seen in the trailer. But that is the first episode. I know that there's a lot of people out there that aren't watching it, and there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to watch it. If you've had a chance to check this out, let me know your thoughts on what you're hearing about it. If you are watching it, let me know your thoughts about this first episode in the comments. Like I said, it was just boring for me because it is so close to just being for kids. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the very next video for episode 2. Later, guys.